Good evening. Thanks for joining us. This is Nationwide. I'm Ruth, Aguele. The president of Haiti, Jovenel Moise, has been assassinated at his private residence. A statement from Haiti's interim Prime Minister, Claude Joseph, said the deadly attack took place in the early hours of Wednesday by a group of individuals who have not been identified. Well, the killing came amid deepening political and economic stability, as well as a spike in gang violence in the country. And back home for us, the Federal Executive Council has approved the medium-term expenditure framework and the fiscal strategy paper for 2022-2024. The document, a requirement of Fiscal Responsibility Act projects 13.98 trillion naira as budget size for the 2021 fiscal year. Minister of State for Finance, Budget and National Planning announced this while briefing newsmen shortly after the Council's meeting presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari. We'll bring you the details of that report in our subsequent bulletin. The new Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, has been formally decorated with his new rank. Well, the ceremony, which preceded the meeting of the Federal Executive Council, was performed by President Muhammadu Buhari. Let's hear from State House correspondent Adamu Sambo.
The decoration of the new army chief with his new rank by President Muhammadu Buhari, assisted by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, followed the confirmation of his appointment by the National Assembly. Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya was appointed Chief of Army Staff on the 27th of May this year to succeed the late Army Chief, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Attahiru. Holder of Bachelor of Arts in History and Masters in International Affairs and Diplomacy, the new Army Chief from Bodinga local government area of Sokoto State was commissioned as a lieutenant in 1990 and rose to become Major General in the Nigerian Army in the year 2017. President Muhammadu Buhari did not speak at the brief ceremony, but the Minister of Defense, Bashir Magashi, told NTA News that the new Army Chief is not unmindful of the high expectations from him.
The President has already talked to us how he wants us to operate. Like every other chief, his mandate is to bring an end to this banditry, kidnapping, and the Boko Haram issue. Nigeria will not allow this kind of nonsense to be happening. We won't take on anybody who is carrying arms, and that is the truth about it. I don't think there is anything wrong to get rid of your enemy if he wants to get rid of you. And that's what the President is saying. You cannot hold a weapon and be allowed to stay alive.
Also speaking to newsmen, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya was emphatic that everything will be done within the limits of the law to justify the trust and confidence reposed in him by the President.
I want to pledge my unalloyed loyalty on behalf of officers and men of the Nigerian Army, and also continue to do our very best to arrest these challenges we have, particularly insurgency, insecurity, and other violent crimes. We are already getting successes. We will leverage on that, including our experience in this job, and by the grace of God, we shall get there.
What message do you have to the bandits and other criminal elements undermining national security and stability? The President said they will be treated in the language they understand.
That's what we have started doing already, and many of them have been sent to God to go and answer for their crimes. We'll continue to do that.
Before his appointment as Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, a highly decorated officer, was the Commander, Theater Command Headquarters, Operation Hiding Kai, fighting terrorism and insurgency in Nigeria's northeast. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
The National Crisis Management Doctrine developed by the Office of the National Security Advisor has come into effect. Implementation of the key components of the strategy, which requires a multi-agencies collaborative approach, necessitated a simulation training exercise underway in Abuja. Kelvin Ehunwahi reports.
It is a drill, a multi-agency counter-terrorism response simulation at the Moshood Abiola Stadium. As terrorists shift focus to soft targets like markets, churches, and other public places, security agencies are preparing for eventualities. When a terrorist attack occurs in a crowded place like a stadium, the impact is usually huge. The panic and stampede may come with high casualties. How security agencies will respond, starting from the Control Incident Center coordination, timing, evacuation and treatment of injured persons were practiced in an operation codenamed Idahun Konkon, meaning quick response.
You can see the response of all the MDAs here, We have each one doing what they are supposed to do in line with the doctrine. It's so beautiful.
It's helped develop the medical SOP, and we've done the same for assault forces, counter-IED and K9. So those, and there are lots of other things.
Assisting the various MDAs with critical training that's going to help Nigeria in their time of crisis.
For a metro train station attacked with a chemical weapon, a response procedure was simulated at the Idu metro station in Abuja, underlining the importance of inter-agencies collaboration in counter-terrorism operations. Officials who observed the simulation are optimistic that with fine-tuning, the standard operating procedures will be ready to be replicated at local and state levels in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture. In Abuja, Kelvin Ewonwaye, NTA News.
The Northeast Governors Forum has called for more collaboration among security operatives with a view to bring to an end the security challenges facing the region. Joseph Zana Gambo reports that this was part of the communique of the 5th meeting held by the governors in Jalingo.
The forum calls on the diplomatic community, partners and donor agencies supporting the region to activate the process of transiting from humanitarian to stabilization and durable solutions within the region.
Vice Chairman of the forum, Umaru Amadou Fintiri, who is also the Governor of Adamawa State, noted the general improvement of the security situation in the region and called for continuous collaboration of all security agencies in the country to sustain the gains. The forum condoled President Muhammadu Buhari, the Nigerian military, and the families of late Chief of Army Staff and other officers who lost their lives, and congratulated the newly appointed Chief of Army Staff on his appointment. The governors expressed the forum's resolve to follow up with all the concerned agencies to ensure that the region gets its fair share in various recruitment in the country. The governors noted with concern the negative impact of drug and narcotic substance in the region and the extent to which it fuels insurgency and other forms of criminality. They called for support in stopping drug trafficking and enforcement of narcotic control within the region and across the borders. The forum expressed deep concern on the level of consultation between the Northeast Development Commission and various state governments on project priorities and locations, which is low, and the slow pace of work.
It equally calls for expedited action to complete the existing projects in the region.
The next meeting of the forum is to be held in Damaturu, Yobe State on 9th October 2021. In Jalingo, Joseph Zanagambo, NTA News.
And from the northeast to the southwest, where the governors of the forum and federal lawmakers from the region have agreed to constitute a high-powered committee to harmonize the position of the zone on the ongoing constitutional amendment by the two houses of the National Assembly. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports that this was during an elaborate meeting of political leaders from the zone in Abuja.
The meeting, which had in attendance 6 governors from the zone and a sizable number of federal legislators, deliberated on burning issues in connection with constitutional review.
We are resolved that we will present a common position as regards amendments to Constitution. And in order to achieve this meeting has set up a committee. The committee made up of distinguished senators led by the caucus chairman and attorneys of the Southwest state. The committee is to harmonize our position so that we can present it as and when necessary before the two houses, and at the end of the day, have the constitutional amendment have a serious input as we take it.
The meeting also discussed the passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill and other national issues crucial to the development of the region. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
Minister of Aviation Hadi Sirika, alongside heads of parastatals and the industry, have answered questions on various public complaints before the Senate Committee on Aviation. National Assembly correspondent Abdullahi Aminu reports that this is aimed at tackling challenges facing the sector towards achieving the federal government's target of indigenous businesses' survival.
It is a brainstorming moment on the entire architecture of the country's aviation sector based on responses by Nigerians. Minister of Aviation Hadi Sirika spoke on the difference between military operation flights and civil operation flights, in addition to economic advantages of having more airports in the country.
It is high time that Nigeria begins to go into research and development in aerospace and aviation, so that in the very near future we are able to build an aircraft. More so because civil aviation frontier is expanding.
Non-adherence to critical rules guiding the activities of commercial airlines in the country, especially that of high rate of delay and cancellation of flights, are topical issues of concern that the senators requested answers to.
Our passengers also are not being helpful in their reportage of these issues, and they push it to the social media space, and a lot of people believe.
But if we keep quiet from raising some of these issues to our attention based on what feedback from people, then we are not doing our nation any service.
Exorbitant duties that have been outlawed by the Nigeria Customs Service and foreign exchange were also deliberated upon at the meeting. From the National Assembly, Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
The utilization of foreign aid in Nigeria will now be monitored to ensure effective usage to the benefit of all Nigerians. Now, this is a sequel to the constitution of a national task force on the utilization of the foreign aid by the Minister of State for Budget and National Planning, Clem Agba. Ilyasu Ali Kubu reports that the Executive Director, African Network for Environment and Economy, is the leader of the task force.
A UN research has shown that Africa is the biggest recipient of foreign aid and development assistance to alleviate hunger, poverty, and foster economic development on the continent. Nigeria is one of the benefiting African countries. But the questions begging for answers are: what are the measurable impacts of the foreign aid to Nigerian communities after years of the foreign donations through the coalition of civil society organizations? This meeting between the civil society organizations and the Minister of State for Budget and National Planning is geared towards changing the narratives by making sure that the impact on the Nigerian community is visible.
Lack of commitment in the use of country systems by development partners, especially in procurement and budgeting, and weak capacity in timely collection and the use of government statistical data, which have not only re-emerged but also worsened.
We believe that for Nigeria to maximize the benefit of development cooperation, it is important that the federal government develop a development cooperation strategy. The strategy should be developed through collaborative effort. Contribution of Nigerians' development partners should be mobilized.
The meeting further agreed to strengthen collaboration, especially now that a national task force has been constituted to monitor and report back to the ministry for proper evaluation. In Abuja, Ilyasu Ali Yakubu, NTA News.
Let's turn to legislative affairs. Senate has passed the 2021 supplementary budget of 982.7 billion naira. It's 6 billion higher than the 895.8 billion submitted by the executive. Let's now join Ignatius Nkwo to tell us more on this parliamentary approval.
On the 23rd of June 2021, the Senate debated on the general principles of the 2021 supplementary budget. That same day, the bill was passed for second reading and referred to the Senate Committee on Appropriations. 2 weeks after, the Senate Committee on Appropriations has concluded work on the money bill, presented it at plenary, and the Senate has passed the bill. Now, the executive had submitted a total figure of 895 billion, and today the Senate has passed a total of 982 billion, increasing the figure submitted by the executive. And we have with us here the Chairman, Senate Committee on Appropriations, Senator Jibrin Barao, who will provide explanations for this increment. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Yeah, now, why the President submitted 895 billion and you increase it to 982 billion? Can you tell us what about the increment?
Well, you see, the fact is that we are running a democracy, a presidential system of government. And in our constitution, it's always specified, it is provided in the constitution, that the executive submits its estimate to us. When it comes to us, we will have to scrutinize and make sure whatever is in there is in line with the wishes and aspirations of the people of this country. Where there is anything to add, of course we need to add. We will add. Where there's anything to remove, we remove. So, and that's what we did today. That's what we did in this process, by looking at scrutinizing the proposal and then making amendments in order to suit the policy and program of government so that everything will go in line with the wishes and aspirations of the people of this country. And that's what we did exactly.
Okay, but are there some of the security agencies that needed to be funded or were underfunded that led to this increment?
Of course, I said in my report, some were underfunded, some were not funded at all. And in our interaction with them, we discovered that there was the need to fund them, or there was a need to increase what was given to them. So that's what happened.
Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, today too, the Senate has approved the external borrowing of $6.1 billion from the international capital markets. That is it from the National Assembly.
And more from the legislative, the Senate will continue to make laws that will ensure transparent and accountable economy of Nigeria for the benefit of all. President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, said this in a message to a public hearing on 3 finance-related bills before the National Assembly. Mobolaji Moribiri has the report.
The public hearing considered 3 bills. One is to repeal and amend the Fiscal Responsibility Commission Act. The other is to amend the Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority Act, and that's for the establishment of the Constituency Projects Act.
Today's hearing is one more shot at advancing this process by reviewing instant laws or creating new ones. It is a procedure that we cherish. I am confident that we are ready to do this.
And there are gray areas that after passing, that the federal government feels strongly about, then we can now look at it objectively in line with their proposed white paper and epic their amendment so that we can have an holistic Fiscal Responsibility Act in place.
A cross-section of stakeholders made submissions on their positions on the 3 important bills.
We believe that this bill will not only improve our fiscal life as a nation, but will also improve the revenue which the country is in dire need for at the moment.
The amendment, if done in such a way and manner that guarantees stability, strength, character, and competence and integrity in public finance management, will align globally to the initiatives that EITI is implementing.
It is recommended that the bill should provide that projects must be completed to ensure that projects are not abandoned after the tenure of a particular legislature.
The bills, when passed, will further reposition Nigeria's financial system. From the National Assembly, Mobolaji Moribiri, NTA News.
The Speaker of the Ghanaian Parliament, Alban Bagbin, says progress has been made in resolving the concerns of Nigerian traders in Ghana. Addressing the Nigerian House of Representatives during plenary Wednesday, Mr. Gbagbin describes both countries as one people with common destiny. He stressed the commitment of Ghana to work with Nigeria to find common solutions and actualize visions. The visit is a continuation of the parliamentary diplomacy aimed at ending the impasse between traders of the sister countries. The full implementation of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center Act has led to closure of shops belonging to foreigners, including Nigerians. And now a look at the judiciary. The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has ruled that former Minister of Finance Kemi Adeosun was ineligible for national service as at the time of her graduation. The court, presided over by Justice Taiwo rules that the ministerial appointment of Kemi Adeosun was not illegal, neither was it unconstitutional, even without presenting the NYSC certificate. The court maintained that Adeosun was not supposed to present herself for National Youth Service because under the 1979 Constitution, which was in force as at the time of her graduation, she was not a Nigerian citizen either at the time of her graduation or when she turned 30. The Federal High Court asserted that the Constitution did not require her to present her first-degree certificate or any other certificates, including the NYSC certificate, to be appointed a minister. The court said since the 1979 Constitution, which was in force at the time, did not recognize dual citizenship, Adeosun could not have served because she was a British citizen. Adeosun graduated from the University of East London in 1989 at the age of 22. The court ruled that Nigerian citizenship only reverted on the extant constitution by which that time Adeosun was well above 30. And by the court ruling ineligible to participate in NYSC scheme, as the scheme is exclusively reserved for Nigerians. All right, let's head to Lagos. Hingano John Adams is waiting to give us her bit from that end.
Ruth. Negligence has been identified as the cause of the fire outbreak that gutted a story building inside the popular Ladipo Market, Mushin, Lagos this Wednesday. Diana Aguele reports that although no casualty was recorded, none of the traders whose shops were domiciled in the building was able to save even a pin from his shop.
The one-story building affected by the inferno had more than 11 shops and generally known for the sale of car accessories, refilling of vehicle AC gas, paint and engine oil. All that was left after the joint emergency responders battled the fire for hours via debris and rubble.
I have almost 8 million naira inside this place. Everything melted. I didn't have any pin to out. I'm confused. I don't know how to do it. I don't know what I will do again myself for my life.
It's so painful that the whole building is down and the goods there is worth over 100 million naira. And basically this is my father's business and the whole thing is just went down off. Look at the whole place is on fire. The whole place went down.
No life was lost. It's just goods and the money. Worth of millions.
The fire outbreak was a pointer to traders to be more careful with the way they handle inflammables.
This place is a densely populated area, but however, we are coping with the challenges and we are on top of it.
If we can have this type of thing and the whole shops were locked up, no area of ventilation, the place is heat up, that alone can spark fire explosion because of the nature of materials kept there.
The fire outbreak is the second within a period of 1.5 months. In Lagos, Diana Aguele, NTA News.
The Lagos State Judicial Panel on Restitution of Victims of SARS and other police human rights violation still has pending cases despite a 3-month extension to its initial timeline. So far, the process has administered justice to some petitioners, with others still trying to prove police actions were unfair to them. Jennifer Igwe gives us an update.
To address the many cases of alleged police brutality, the Lagos State Judicial Panel on Restitution for Victims of SARS-related abuses and other matters was created. Over 200 petitions were submitted. One by one, they were heard.
To unload 3 dead bodies in a Elot bus.
Proven cases was and is still pertinent. So although some petitioners had touchy stories, under cross-examinations by legal counsels, they were left hanging. Some petitioners backed down and withdrew their cases because series of events had overtaken their matters, while others were thrown out by the panel because of unseriousness of the petitioners and lack of due process. Those who were able to prove their cases successfully with concrete evidence were awarded compensations and apologies.
There's a case of, I think like 2-3 persons received 10 million involving cases of death. There was one 7.5 million, there was another 5 million, then a million, 750,000, 500,000. The panel has also been very open, transparent.
Actually, there are people who have justiciable matters, and there are people who also feel that this matter, they are just coming here just because the panel is set up and they just felt that, let me try our luck.
The panel is still ongoing. On this day, for instance, 8 cases were heard. 1 was struck out, 1 adjourned sine die, and 6 others were scheduled for adoption of final written addresses for 16th and 13th of July 2021. The panel started its sitting and it was to end May 2021, but had 3 months extension. Now, 19th of July is the expected end of the 3 months extension. Will there be another? Now that's something we'll have to find out. In Lagos, Jennifer Igwe, NTA News.
It's now time for a break. Nationwide, we'll be back shortly with Fatima Hassan in Makurdi.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth Entrepreneurship Support Years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
Your kids are smart. Your kids are creative. Your kids are business savvy. Now they get a chance to prove it and maybe even start their own business. The goal of the Emergent Africa competition is to raise a new breed of industrialists. Upload a video of your child pitching a business idea or showcasing an existing business to get a chance to enter the 3-week boot camp where final winners will emerge. Admission is free. Age range is 10 to 17 years. Entries open June 28th, 2021 and ends July 17th, 2021. Bootcamp opens August 8th and ends August 28th, 2021. For more information, visit our website www.teacompetition.org, our Facebook page TEA Competition, our Instagram The Emergent Africa. For inquiries and sponsorship, call 0803-545-8855 or 0817-678-8284.
Although social media as a channel of communication is inherently harmless, it becomes harmful and damaging when used without discretion and thoughtfulness. Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, reflect, and verify information before sharing it. Be a good social media user. Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source and use social media responsibly for a better Nigeria. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, in collaboration with the National Orientation Agency.
Good evening and welcome to Makurdi. Farmers and dealers of perishable food items have appealed to industrialists and investors to complement government efforts by establishing processing industries in Benue State. Emergent reports that the appeal is due to the high volume of post-harvest losses being experienced.
Post-harvest losses can be caused by a variety of factors ranging from growing conditions to handling at retail level, which amount to losses. These losses usually come in form of handling injuries and infectious diseases. Losses directly attributed to transport can be high, particularly during the process of conveyance occasioned by deplorable roads and poor storage facilities. At the retail marketing stage, losses occur at the arrival of supplies in market, while older stock are discarded or sold at very low price.
As a seller, we do have a lot of loss because we lack materials to preserve this. Sometimes we went to the bush to buy, and when we buy, at the process of looking for car or the means to transport it to the town, we may be looking for cars, motors hereabouts. Before you know it, the one we heap on the ground is rotting.
Rotiwama, nobody they buy. As in the complaint say no money, no money. Would they buy a course? We know they see any person buying where, so that we might go say chop as money no day.
With yearly post-harvest losses, farmers are praying for the establishment of cottage industries for the processing of farm produce into finished products. Deputy Director Research and Collaboration, Center for Food, Technology and Research, CEFTA, Makurdi, Sylvester Adejo says students within the country and abroad converge on the Benue State University to learn and to put to practice the process of packaging some of the farm produce for consumption.
The one thing you have to understand is that if you are selling something raw, you hardly have the market. But if it is processed, the value is enhanced. So with all those little things, the equipment we have, even drying of fish, peppers and all these things, there are various researches going on.
This, the State Coordinator, Rural Access and Agricultural Marketing Projects, RAAM, Mone Ayeni, says the project is coordinating facilities to assist farmers in managing post-harvest losses.
The project is looking at creating assets or maintaining already existing ones so that people can pass freely, either go in and buy or bring out and sell. Now we are looking at creating what we term as agro-logistics hubs or big markets in some key areas where farmers can converge and do their sales.
He further says more farmers will be engaged to enable them access the small-scale processing technology available at the institution. In Makurdi, Iverin Solomon, NTA News.
Worried by moribund cottage industries across the state and the need to revive them to life, Governor Samuel Otom has inaugurated the reconstituted Council for Privatization and Commercialization of Moribund Industries in Benue State. Correspondent Charles Abba reports that the council, which constitutes 9 members, has Christopher Abba as chairman.
Governor Samuel Otom, who performed the inauguration ceremony of the reconstituted Council for Privatization and Commercialization, said the essence of the council is to fully engage in privatizing and commercializing existing and moribund industries in the state to lessen the financial burden on government in running industries and other enterprises.
If these enterprises are fully privatized to capable private investors, it will make their operations more efficient and effective. This will result to wealth creation, employment generation, and stimulate the economic development of the state.
The council chairman, Christopher Abba, gave the assurance that the needful would be done in line with the mandate.
On behalf of the members here, I promise that we will do our best to carry out the mandate you have given to us.
In Makudi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Makudi. Nationwide continues in Abuja with Ruth.
Thank you very much, Fatima. Stakeholders of the All Progressives Congress in Imo State have appealed to Imolites, particularly members of the Progressives family, to explore the 2 weeks extension given to the state to register and revalidate their membership of the APC. Former Governor of Imo State, Senator Rochas Okorocha, who led members of the Imo APC Pioneer Group to the Buhari House, National Secretariat of the APC, addressed the media after a strategic meeting with the Governor, Mai Mala Buni-led caretaker and extraordinary convention committee.
We have come to ask the party to obey the court judgment that established the right ESCO in the state, which has not been overturned by any other court. And that court judgment says that Daniel Nwafor and his ESCO are the authentic elected members of the party, ESCO of the party. And without he's doing his job, then the congresses might not be legal. So we have come to remind the party as a law and the rule of law party, and we joined this party because of justice, and justice must be seen to prevail at all levels.
Okorocha assured that APC members are united towards sustaining and expanding the successes of the party in Imo State and Southeast. The commitment towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goals by the year 2030 in Nigeria will enjoy better momentum through positive collaborations. The SDGs project in the Niger Delta region are expected to have appreciable impact, especially in human capacity building and institutional development. Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Amina Mohammed, gave this indication when she visited Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Godswill Akpabio. Let's hear more from Kenneth Inani.
As the then Minister of Environment, Amina Mohammed, now Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, was passionate about development of the Niger Delta region. She played a prominent role in the cleanup of the Ogoniland Roadmap Initiative and other infrastructural development. And so, she was enthused with successes recorded so far. And Minister of the Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Godswill Akpabio, is elaborate on the commitment by President Muhammadu Buhari towards addressing infrastructural deficit in the region, which he believes is responsible for the current peace and tranquility.
What the ministry is doing now, as part of our mandate, is to ensure that we coordinate. And so we have developed a system, strategic implementation work plan. It has passed through the Federal Executive Council. We want to coordinate the activities of development in the entire region. So even if it is an IOC or it's a state government and all that, or it's the NDDC, at the press of a button, you can see in social community what is on ground.
We always speak to the 17 goals, they're sustainable development goals. And so those goals, they provide a framing for a discussion on basic services government should provide in social protection, in health, in education, in water, taking care of women's issues and making sure that they have, equality as it should be. That agenda must be seen in the Niger Delta.
Both are of the opinion that with effective collaboration and coordination, various SDG projects and the Catch Them Young program initiative of the ministry ongoing in schools in the Niger Delta region will be impactful in discouraging pipeline vandalism as well as calm all forms of agitations. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
All right, we'll make another stop at Enugu to join Chinenye.
Many thanks, Ruth. Welcome to Enugu. In addition to the ongoing online continuous voter registration, there will be about 2,673 centers nationwide where citizens can register physically. The Resident Electoral Commissioner and Independent National Electoral Commission, Enugu State, Emeka Onanamadu, gave the assurance while briefing journalists and leaders of various political parties in Enugu. Chika Ugu has the report.
In its desire to serve citizens better in the ongoing continuous voters registration, CVR, INEC introduced a dedicated portal for online registration. According to the Resident Electoral Commissioner, INEC, the Commission will subsequently deploy 5,346 staff to the 2,673 registration centers nationwide when the physical capturing, which will complement the online method, commences.
This new method is aimed at reducing queue in line with COVID-19 safety protocols, as well as ensuring speed and inclusiveness as the Commission targets about 14 million new registrants nationwide.
The INEC REC also disclosed that the conversion of voting points into polling units has been completed with a total of 1,189 new polling units in existence in Enugu, amounting to a total of 4,145 polling units in the state. The Commission further enjoined key players to pay appropriate attention to INEC for information and make correct interpretation of information emanating from INEC to the public. In Enugu, Chika Ugu, NTA News.
About 2,500 indigent and vulnerable persons from various communities in Enugu East local government area of Enugu State have benefited from a free medical outreach organized by the 82 Division of the Nigerian Army as part of activities for the 2021 Nigerian Army Day celebration.
I'm just thanking them enough for them to offer me this wheelchair.
Thank all of them.
Sunday Itumo and Michael Nwoye are among the 2,500 beneficiaries of the free medical services organized by the 82 Division Nigerian Army Enugu to celebrate this year's Nigerian Army Day. General Officer Commanding 82 Division, Major General Taoreed Labaja, noted that the medical outreach comprising free consultations, free dental and eye checks, treatment, distribution of free eyeglasses, wheelchairs, clutches, drugs, and insecticide-treated nurse, among others, is to enhance a cordial relationship between the Nigerian Army and members of the three communities. The distribution of the items, according to the Commander 82 Division, Medical Services and Hospital, was made according to the needs of the people, while persons diagnosed of complex medical conditions will be referred to the 82 Division Hospital for treatment. Key players from the benefiting communities appreciated the Nigerian Army for the services rendered to the people and for their efforts at protecting the territorial integrity of the country. Held between 1st to 6th July every year, the Nigerian Army Day celebration is an annual event organized to showcase the combat readiness of the Nigerian Army, among others. And those are the stories from Enugu. Nationwide continues with Sadia in Sokoto after this commercial break. Do stay.
Dear compatriots,
our country can be as great as we want.
Let us all commit ourselves to its greatness.
We must be willing to set aside our differences, unite and stay as one.
In our expansive landmass, human and material resources, and plurality lies our strength.
Let our challenges lead us to rediscover our common ground, and together, let's find solutions.
This will take some time, so it requires patience, tolerance, and forgiveness from every one of us.
Let all hands come on deck to protect and transform our country.
Let us unite and see each other not as adversaries, but as brothers and sisters.
Together, we can build a better Nigeria for ourselves and for the next generations.
This message is brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA, with support from Nigerian Television Authority, NTA.
The Council of Our Fathers.
I will urge and advise our younger generation to use talent and brain to sort out problems, not arms.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
For staying with us. Now, Kebbi State has benefited from the federal government projects executed through the COVID-19 intervention funds aimed at managing the challenges during and beyond the pandemic. The Minister of State for Health, Dr. Adeleke Olurinimbe Mamora, while inaugurating the 11 projects, said most of the beneficiaries have been provided in all the tertiary health institutions in Nigeria. Abdullahi Umar Ilalu reports.
The project includes infectious diseases isolation and treatment center, molecular laboratory and flameless incinerator, drug information center, and digital X-ray machines, among others. The minister stated that President Muhammadu Buhari is committed to the provision of affordable health care services to all Nigerians to achieve the universal health coverage. He urged the hospital management and the beneficiaries to ensure strict maintenance of the facilities.
The Infectious Disease Isolation and Treatment Center, the Molecular Laboratory, and the fully equipped intensive care unit we see here today are provided in all the federal tertiary health institutions in Nigeria.
Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, in a message delivered by the Secretary to the State Government, Babale Umar Yawuri, thanked the federal government for providing the new facilities and assured state government's continued support to the Federal Medical Center Birnin Kebbi to maintain the projects. The Medical Director, Federal Medical Center Birnin Kebbi, Dr. Aliyu Balarabi, commended the federal government for building a robust healthcare infrastructure in line with the transformation and next-level agenda of President Muhammadu Buhari.
The hospital provides accessible, affordable, and qualitative emergency care, inpatient care, outpatient care, and other specialized services to our teeming patient population, which has grown to over 100,000 outpatient visits in the last 3 years and over 13,000 inpatient admissions annually.
He also applauded Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu and his wife, Dr. Zainab Shinkafi Bagudu, for their tremendous support to the hospital, especially during the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic. Abdullah Umar Ilalu, NTA News.
The improprieties being experienced by indigents of Sokoto State undergoing various studies in Sudan will soon be history. This came to the fore at the signing of Memorandum of Understanding between the government of Sokoto State and Sudanese Sultanate Council. Lahat Abdullahi reports that the MOU document was signed at Government House, Sokoto. The report.
Secretary to Sokoto State Government, Malam Saidu Umar,
signed the MOU on behalf of the Sokoto state government, while former Ambassador Nuruddin Adamu signed on behalf of the Sudanese Sultanate Council. The MOU will be handled by a facility run by the Sudanese Sultanate Council in place of agents that failed to perform well on the partnership. The idea for the fresh MOU came up during Governor Tambuwal's visit to Sudan Republic to witness the graduation ceremony of 38 indigents of Sokoto State who successfully completed their studies on medical and paramedical sciences in 3 universities this year. During the visit, Governor Tambuwal observed that the partnership on education experienced some improprieties, hence the need to design proper measures through the Sultan of Meurno and the Nigerian Embassy in Sudan Republic. The current MOU is also aimed at re-cementing the relationship between the two entities, focusing on other areas that include commerce and agriculture, among others.
We've had issues with some agents in the past who have been representing the state government. In brief, they are not doing well. The agents have not been doing well in actually dealing with our students. So we decided that we should adopt a new approach.
Representative of the Sultan of Meurno, Sudan Republic, the Sardauna Meurno, Mustafa Balla, expressed optimism that the signing of the MOU will further strengthen the long-existing ties between Nigeria and Sudan, including the royalties of the two entities. In Sokoto, Lalata Abdullahi, NTA News.
And that's it from here. It's now back to Ruth in Abuja.
Thank you very much, Sadia. More initiatives have been adopted as relevant bodies sustain advocacy to end sexual and gender-based violence in the country. The latest initiative tagged Prevent, Accountability and Support, which is captured in the book Orange Pages, provides guide to where victims of sexual and gender-based violence can access support across the country, including the 29 sexual abuse referral centers in the 17 states. Joshua Ojito reports that the model, supported by wives of the state governors, also seeks to complement efforts of key players to curb sexual and gender-based violence and ensure support for survivors.
Continues to work closely with key line ministries, donor partners, civil society organizations to implement practical solutions and models of excellence that support survivors and punish perpetrators. We are committed to advancing effective approaches to keep women and girls safe through evidence-based interventions like what the PASS model offers.
We need to bring up our daughters with a healthy dose of self-respect and self-esteem, and our voice up with a different understanding of masculinity. We also need to continue to work hard on the implementation of our legal and policy frameworks. Where we don't have laws, we need to continue to advocate for them. And in most cases where we do have the laws, we need to continue to push for implementation.
We do a lot around prevention by making sure that key target audience are actually informed on what sexual and gender-based violence is actually about.
Awareness creation is key because people need to know what they have to do.
Advocacy Day on ending gender-based violence. Protection of national assets is paramount in Nigeria's journey towards sustainable development. This formed the crux of the advocacy of the Artistic Director of National Troupe of Nigeria as he seeks the collaboration with NTA towards sensitizing the public. Ekene Ndulue reports.
Increasing cases of vandalism of public property have become a source of concern to government and well-meaning Nigerians. Artistic Director, National Troupe of Nigeria says this vice is not part of the Nigerian culture. The collaboration with NTA through artistic productions, he believes people can be sensitized on the need to take ownership of public property.
We can be able to partner in developing some skits. Could be 4 minutes, 5 minutes. That can be able to ensure that we sensitize Nigerians on the need for us to preserve our national assets. Because whatever government has put in place in our own community is for your own use.
Director General of NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed assures the delegation that NTA is ever ready to partner in any project geared towards promoting values in the society.
It is incumbent on us as another parastatal in the ministry, to join hands with other parastatals so that together, we can carry the country forward to the next level.
As members of the delegation take their leave, they promise to get to work immediately with artistic contents geared towards national aspirations. In Abuja, Ekene Ndulwe, NTA News.
All right, Sport Update is next.
First batch of Team